evening, viewers. Welcome to this session. We have a lot of news right here for you, and welcome to Sunita, as well as welcome to Lena. Always nice to have you uh, with us. So, welcome to all of you, friends, and it's really nice always, coming live at this time because I know I can also interact with you while speaking about what's happening in India. So, there's a lot of news that we like to share with you. So, let's start with the first story. Yeah. So now we're talking about the Congress take on what's happening. So let's move on to that. Yeah. So the Congress on Monday targeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath over the alleged irregularities in the handling of donations and offerings made by devotees at the Ram temple in Ayodhya. Speaking to reporters in Raipur, Pawan Khera, Chairman, Media and Publicity Department, AICC, claimed that the State Bank of India had recommended the removal of officials posted at the temple's donation counting center 3 months ago and sought to know who were protecting them. He said the alleged donation theft at the Ram temple, for which 8 people have been arrested so far by the Uttar Pradesh police, was only a glimpse, and more such cases were yet to come. अयोध्या की लूट जानकी है, काशी मथुरा अब की बाकी है. The alleged loot in Ayodhya was only a glimpse. Kashi and Mathura are yet to come, he said. Khera said the UPCM should be asked whether bulldozer action will be taken against the RSS or the Prime Minister's office over the embezzlement of funds at the temple. The RSS and PMO were directly looking after the Ram Mandir administration. Asked Adityanath if there has been wrongdoing there, will bulldozers be sent to RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's residence or to PMO? Just ask him this question and he will have no answer. Khera claimed that State Bank of India 3 months ago recommended the removal of certain officials at the donation counting center at the shrine. SBI had recommended 3 months ago that those posted at the counting center be removed. Who has been protecting them, Nagpur or Delhi? In reply to a question, he said the United States was insulting India every day, while Prime Minister Modi was, maintaining silence. Modi should just give us a list of those he is afraid of and those he is not, he quipped. On the reported move by the new BJP government in West Bengal to bring a bill on UCC, Khera alleged that such issues were being raised to divert people's attention from the Ram Mandir donation theft case. The purpose of the UCC bill is only to change the headlines and divert attention from what's happening in the name of Lord Rama in Ayodhya, he claimed. Khera was in Raipur to address the last day of a 10-day training camp of the Chhattisgarh Congress organized for district unit presidents in the Abhan Nagar area. So now, friends, what I find rather surprising is that till now they never really cared about Ram Mandir or Lord Rama. They did not even attend, the function that happened, the inauguration, and they also made fun of it, saying that someone who dances like Aishwarya was, called for the event. So when they don't have any, reverence for Lord Rama, when they didn't want to take any part in it, they were all so very critical of, the temple. Suddenly, they have become very overprotective. And one thing I really don't understand is that if Yogi Adityanath ji and Modi are taking action, isn't that what you would expect? If anything happens, for example, a robbery in a bank happens, if the investigation starts, we will know that the bank manager is fair and square. So here you are having the chief minister giving maximum attention to this case. And I don't understand why these people are so worried about as though Yogi Adityanath himself has done it. Now, see why are they doing it is the question. Now, Congress is utilizing these allegations, if you look at the truth of it, to challenge the integrity of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust. So this is the basic thing. See, when things happened at the Sabrimala temple in Kerala, Congress never made any fuss, you know. And when the people, in fact, one of the guilty people who had, they say apparently or allegedly, put all the gold in actor Jairam's house, you know, that was those people who were involved were also seen with some of the Congress people in Delhi, isn't it? So that never, that never caused such a stir. Now, so now they are now trying to challenge the integrity of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust, arguing that because the trust has ties to the union government, the central leadership is accountable for any financial discrepancies. The government and the BJP maintain that the trust is an independent body and that the legal processes are already in motion to address any proven irregularities, characterized the opposition's intense focus on this issue as a politically motivated effort to gain traction on a sensitive religious topic. At its core, this is a strategic struggle where the opposition aims to erode this ruling party's moral authority by linking its leadership to potential corruption, while the ruling party seeks to defend its institutional credibility and maintain the narrative around its flagship project. So now I'm still very curious as to what makes Congress so interested in the Ram temple, because till now they have shown only disdain for the temple. So let's just take a few comments. Leena says, Congress can't talk about development issues. They feel they can win elections by talking about this. And Sunita says, the shops outside the Ayodhya Ram temple are mostly owned by the communities other than Hindus, is what I read, man, says Sunita. So there's some other issue here as well. I never saw any shops owned by Hindus near masjids. So it's a very valid question that, Sunita is making. And Leena also says Congress should talk about the church money being sent to Rome. They have no business to comment on anything else. And she continues, all the scams Congress has done in 10 years, let's bulldoze every Congress party's office, is what she says. So these are all very, very important points, and so this is something, people should ask about what is the sudden interest of Congress, unless, of course, now you know for a fact that in Karnataka, SIR has started. Now, this is another point that people are very, very, Congress people are very, very scared about, because suddenly D.K. Shivakumar is also saying that the forms that are coming for SIR are very, convoluted and all that. So we'll go into that as well. Now, let's move on to the, the next piece of news. Now, the Congress has begun a major organizational reshuffle as part of its long-term strategy for the 2029 Lok Sabha elections, with the changes being seen as a sign of more assertive leadership under Rahul Gandhi. Now, some of the key appointments is Rajendra Pal Gautam, a former AAP minister and prominent Dalit leader, has been made the parties in charge for UP. The move signals a strong focus on Dalit outreach and Rahul Gandhi's social justice agenda, while also keeping the possibility of future opposition alliances in UP open. Another person is B.V. Srinivas, known for his activism and street protests as former Youth Congress president, has been appointed chief organizer of the Congress Seva Dal. The party hopes he will revive the cadre-based organization and strengthen grassroots mobilization. Now, Manikam Tagore, one of Rahul Gandhi's close aides and a key parliamentary strategist, has given a larger organizational role. He describes the appointment as part of a movement aimed at preparing Congress for victory in 2029 and making Rahul Gandhi the next prime minister. The article also notes that several appointments reflect changing political dynamics in states like Karnataka, Haryana, and Odisha, with more organizational changes expected in Punjab, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. Overall, the reshuffle is presented as an attempt to strengthen the party's grassroots organization, energize workers through leaders known for field activism, improve outreach to Dalits and other social groups, and prepare systematically for the 2029 general elections. The report concludes by observing that while Rahul Gandhi has often been criticized for delaying organizational decisions, party insiders believe he has become more decisive in the recent months. However, they acknowledge that the real test will be whether These appointments will translate into stronger state units and better electoral performances. So now we all of us are wondering now, what is the sudden action all about? So let me just take a few comments before that. The shops outside Ayodhya temple are mostly owned by the communities other than Hindus. Yes, that's what you said. Congress can't talk about development issues. They can win elections by talking about this. And Sunita says, I never saw any shops owned by Hindus near the masjid. Now, moving back to the next piece of news, we're talking about Rahul Gandhi's reorganization of his, of his party. Now, what is happening by this organizational reshuffle? It's being undertaken by the Congress Party, as referenced in in this, is a multi-layered strategic effort driven by long-term strategy for 2029. This is what they say. The party is initiating these changes as part of a deliberate roadmap for the 2029 Lok Sabha elections. Now, this includes projecting Rahul Gandhi as the primary face of the party for the national contest and centralizing decision making under his leadership. Now, what you guys would ask, what is new? Now, they are also preparing for upcoming assembly polls in states with imminent assembly elections, which, such as we mentioned, Uttar Pradesh, the restructuring is redesigned to build a strong social coalition, specifically targeting Dalit and OBC voters. They are best at dividing Hindus into different castes. They won't do that to Muslims, they won't do that to Christians, but they'll do it to Hindus. And our Hindus are, sitting ducks for that. And also the strengthening and organizational cohesion. So they say that the revamp involves replacing state leadership and All India Congress Committee in charges to address issues like factionalism and performance gaps. For instance, the appointment of the new Pradesh Congress Committee chiefs in states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala is intended to revitalize the party machinery at the state level. Now, the party leaders have indicated that this internal restructuring is a way to align the organization with the themes of social justice and constitutional protection, which the party views as its core ideological platform for future elections. So this is what is happening meanwhile in the Congress. So let's take one more point. Sunita says, I remember Modi ji sending invites to Sonia Gandhi and Rahul to the inauguration of Ram Mandir, but neither turned up. And now they seem to be so interested in what's happening in Ram Mandir. And they are going to decide whether, the trust is trustworthy. So this is what is happening. I mean, there are other things up their sleeve for sure if they are concentrating on this one reason. So now moving on to the next piece of news. Now we are talking about none other than TVK under this actor, who half the time keeps silent and half the time you think that he, is doing exactly everything opposite to what he had proposed in the beginning. For instance, let me tell you something very amusing is that, see, the lady who helps me, she goes every time to Tamil Nadu to vote, and this time she said, I've been, all of us have been promised so many things by TVK, so we're going to vote for him and we're going to get so much of money, so much of, other facilities. And now, she's saying even to give that 1,000 rupees, he is doing it with reluctance. He says now that the government is, this is how, she says that the government is now in debt and they don't have much money. So we're not going to get our money. So people are very disappointed with what he is doing. Now, another big problem has arisen in TVK, where a TVK MLA alleges that 35 crore bribe was offered. Now, three people were arrested. V. Senthil Balaji, named a political controversy, has erupted in Tamil Nadu after Tamilaga Vetri Karagam, which is TVK MLA Ilayaraja, alleged that he was offered 35 crores in an attempt to influence his vote on a proposed assembly resolution concerning the speaker. Now, following the complaint, Tamil Nadu police arrested 3 individuals accused of being involved in the alleged bribery attempt. The case has intensified after former Minister V. Senthil Balaji was named in connection with the allegations. Now, authorities have initiated an investigation to determine the extent of the alleged political horse trading operation and the role of those involved. According to the MLA, the offer was part of an effort to destabilize the Vijay-led state government. The allegations triggered a sharp political reaction with the opposition parties demanding a transparent and impartial probe. Now, police officials said the investigation is ongoing and further action will depend on the evidence collected during the course of the inquiry. No official findings establishing the allegations have been announced so far. So now this is something very, very interesting. Whatever, as we said, whatever Vijay has said, now he has taken a U-turn. So in fact, I think Sunita gave some other comments when she started off. She said, the main scene happened when the otherwise silent CM Vijay questioned what happened to the collected party fund. It didn't go well with Udaynidhi. And she continues that to this, he countered, telling CM to show if he has any evidence to that, and counter arguments follow. So this is some information that she is giving on the side. Now, if you were to look at this, the allegations of the political horse trading. Now, TVK MLA Ilaiyaraaja recently filed alleging that he was offered 35 crores to vote against the assembly speaker, a move he described as an attempt to destabilize TVK government. Now, police investigations into the bribery attempt have named DMK Minister Senthil Balaji and his brother V. Ashok Kumar, suggesting a coordinated effort to poach legislators. Now, beyond the individual bribery, reports indicate a larger coordinated plan involving the intelligence inputs that suggested efforts were made to engineer the simultaneous resignation of 10 to 15 TVK MLAs to collapse the government. Now, also as a new entrant that ended a nearly 60-year tradition of Dravidian party dominance, the TVK faces intense political scrutiny and criticism from established rivals. Opponents, including the DMK, have been accused by TVK members of alliances such as the MDMK moving from DMK to the TVK as a mockery of democracy. And also the party has also faced backlash on other fronts, including disputes over religious traditions like the Deepam controversy, which critics used to question the party's stand of faith and public policy. That's also another U-turn that is taken. In short, the attacks are a result of high-stakes environment of Tamil Nadu's first hung assembly, where the opposition is actively working to challenge the TVK's leadership and stability of its government through legal challenges, allegations of corruption, and political maneuvering. So this is something that's also happening on the side. So there's a lot of rivalry happening, and let's also take some comments that are coming in. Dhanashri says, is it true that cow slaughter has been banned in Tamil Nadu from now? This is something we need to check, Dhanashri, and seems you have some information. And if you do, please share it with us. I'm sure Vijay would get his heroic panic attacks not out of wisdom but acted delusion, ultimately leading to his downfall by cunning politicians, is what KK is saying. So now one thing is for sure, KK, is that this man, please don't think that he is a gullible young actor. He doesn't know the ways of the politicians. He's very well aware, and he's getting the right advice from the lottery gang who backs him. So please do not think that he is being fooled by anybody. Everything, it's just like a play in which they are all playing their parts to make sure that they can make maximum money, in their position as a chief minister or as a minister. So this is something I wouldn't agree with you. So that's something that is quite I mean, if you look at Vijay, see, another thing that came yesterday, in fact, Jaydev had also commented on it, is that he was telling everybody, running around and saying that, see, you should stop taking drugs. Mainly he was, sort of paying attention to the youngsters and the students. But the main, he being an actor for so many years, where did the money for the Tamilian movies come from? Okay, so then he should straight away point fingers at the drug mafia that exists in the film industry. Doesn't he know about that? Wasn't he acting on that money? And wasn't that money meant to, make youngsters drug addicts? So then why is he not talking about that? So I somehow I see this chief minister as a man with double standards, and I don't trust him the least bit. Now, Lena says U.S. ambassador met him in closed doors. Deep state, yes. So this is something, I'm sure, Lena, you have hit the nail with this, because whatever he is doing seems to be in a very, very guided mood, and also the fact that he's getting plenty of money for it. So now let's move on to the next piece of news. So let's see what now is happening with Sonia Gandhi. Now, the Congress Parliamentary Party chairperson, Sonia Gandhi, on Saturday sharply criticized the Modi government over its response to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, alleging that its stony silence and inaction had undermined both India's moral standing and strategic interests. In an opinion article published in a leading national daily, she argued that India's current foreign policy had alienated the country from its traditional partners in Palestine, Iran, and the wider Middle East, while allowing Pakistan to project itself as a mediator in the region. She also described Prime Minister Modi's visit to Israel shortly before the US-Israel joint attack on Iran as a bewildering strategic decision. Sonia Gandhi contended that India had a moral obligation to speak out against the humanitarian situation in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, while its national interests also demanded a response in line with growing international criticism of Israel's military campaign. The Modi government's continued silence simply cannot be explained rationally or morally, she said. So this is something that, Sonia Gandhi feels is very important. But then my question to Sonia Gandhi would be, the very, very big issue of where, so many thousands of young white British girls who have been gang raped, have, by Pakistani individuals who have come into the country, has not even come into her scrutiny at all. And why? Why so? I mean, are these little girls of absolutely no significance to her? So why is she only focused on Gaza? Just like, you have the whole of Bollywood. Every time something happens, all these actresses, right from Kareena to everybody, they're holding placards and saying that, see, we have to save Gaza. But when the same thing happens in India or in any other country, they keep their eyes closed. So these kind of double standards is something that she really needs to look back on. And see, if you look at, she's arguing that India has historically stood for post-colonial solidarity and sovereignty, that government's stony silence on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza betrays these constitutional values and India's long-standing support for the Palestinian cause. Now, we would also ask her, why did she keep quiet when all these atrocities were happening in Bangladesh? When someone so innocent as an ISKCON priest was, taken into prison and tortured. But innocent Hindus were being hanged and killed and burnt. Why was Sonia Gandhi not raising her voice then? Is my question. So suddenly, why does Gaza keep popping up in the Congress, vocabulary each time? So another point that they're making is that she claims that by deepening its special strategic partnership with Israel, India has moved into a strategic orbit that is increasingly isolated as the global community pivots away from Israel's action in Gaza. She argues that this alignment has alienated India from its historical allies in West Asia, such as Iran and Palestine, and has allowed nations like Pakistan to fill the vacuum to position themselves as mediators. Now, one thing I'd like to seriously ask Ms. Gandhi is that since when has she started writing? Okay, now when you say that she's writing an article, that means there must be a journalist within her. But we have never seen this journalistic quality in this lady before. So, are you pretending to write when somebody else is writing for you? So that is also something that the country can ask you. Now, also the fact that the BJP now has characterized Sonia Gandhi's remarks as selective criticism and accused her of prioritizing vote bank politics, which is exactly what is happening over national interest. This reflects the broader high stakes political environment where the opposition seeks to undermine the government's moral authority by challenging its handling of sensitive international issues. Now, if you were to take, what is happening in India, if you look at the way Prime Minister Modi is handling issues, he's never taken sides. Have you noted that? He's always, friendly with everybody. So this makes opposition parties rather they feel very scared because they don't know how to handle it. He's a friend with Iran as well as he's a friend with America. He's a friend with Russia and with the European allies. So what is happening is that they cannot dissect every movement that Modi is making. Modi makes moves to safeguard India's interests, something that she and her party has never done, because we were known as a poor country when they ruled. When UPA ruled, we were one of the poorest countries. We were known for having beggars on the streets, and people mocked the way our country was, how dirty it was. We didn't have good highways. Madam, did anybody question you about your own reign? Nobody did. So why do you keep on putting this Gaza thing, it's like, a key that is stuck in a piano. You keep on playing the same key. So this is something that we really need to look at. So let me just take some questions that are coming in, very lovely points coming in. So Lena says, Italian lady never said a word when Hindus were killed and raped inside Bangladesh. Yes, Hindus don't matter, or they're not significant to her thinking. Okay, and then she names her children with Hindu names. Okay, and whenever they are on election mode, they always wear the tikka and they wear saris and Indian attire. So you want to be an Indian, but you don't care about the Hindus. And when what happened in Bangladesh, you never really cared about it. Now, Dhanashri says, why to blame Modi ji behind Palestine and Israel? What is the logic behind this? Seriously. So these are questions that the viewers are really, really asking. Has a country Italy condemned Israel? Very, very valid point coming from Leena. And she says, Dhanashri says, in fact, these film stars were quiet when the Pahalgam attack took place. Even today, Dhanashri, none of these Akshay Kumars and all, they'll do yoga, they'll stand on their heads, and all these Shilpa Shettis and all, they'll do all that. But when it comes to talking for Hindus, love jihad, and all that's happening, they'll keep silent. Why? Are they, why are they quiet? Are they being paid from across the border? So these are all questions that everybody will ask. So let me just take a few more comments that are coming in. Sunita says, all these years the party gave this color that Sonia Gandhi is dealing with a lot of health issues, so she isn't active. Now suddenly what is all this? And this is precisely the point, Sunita, because everybody from Dr. Subramanya Swamy to everybody was saying that she keeps going to the hospital for, and she had some kind of, allegedly she had some kind of cancer and all that. But we don't see her as, sick for even a moment. She seems to be galloping around like a pony. So this is something that we don't understand. And Nina says she isn't sick. So these are questions that everybody is asking. So why get into Gaza when you have, our country has enough problems for you to sort out? For example, in Karnataka, the infrastructure is so bad. They're not bothered about immediately starting work. 3 years have passed under Siddaramaiah. Not a road has been, rectified. No infrastructure has been done. Now suddenly, the minister who's, looking after this, is making, showing us, on Instagram and all little roads that are being done in such a slipshod manner. First, Congress and the other opposition parties have to learn to make public lives, happier, to make their lives easier. They haven't done that, is it? So. Dhanashri says, in fact, Mr. Gandhi sidelined Narasimha Rao during his past time. And Lena, we all know, but the party is like cat closing eyes. Absolutely. So now let's move on to the next piece of news, which is about Karnataka. So now, also one last point taken. Does she travel abroad to hide their scam cash? Is something Lena is asking. Now, moving on to CM DK Shivkumar, who says electoral enumeration form was challenging to fill. He's talking about the SIR. Now, TVK Shivkumar admitted that completing the electoral enumeration form under the Special Intensive Revision, which is the SIR, of the voters list was not an easy task, as a statewide revision drive commenced on Tuesday. Speaking after submitting his completed form at his Sadashiv Nagar residence, Shivkumar said he personally found the process somewhat difficult due to the amount of information required. Election officials collected the signed forms from him and his family members as part of the exercise to update the electoral rolls. The chief minister encouraged citizens to use the printed forms distributed by booth level officers, noting that while an online option is available, it may be more convenient for an educated family member to fill out the forms for the entire household. He urged people to return the completed forms to BLOs by July 29. Shivkumar also announced that the Karnataka government would facilitate the issuance of documents such as residence and caste certificates required for voter enrollment in accordance with the Election Commission guidelines. He stressed the importance of ensuring that eligible residents are included in the electoral rolls, warning that individuals whose names are missing could face difficulties in accessing certain government welfare schemes. He reiterated that the only bona fide residents of Karnataka are eligible to receive benefits under the state's flagship welfare programs. The Special Intensive Revision aims to verify and update voter information across Karnataka, with authorities urging citizens to cooperate with election officials and complete the process within the stipulated time. So this is something very, very important, friends, because see, the very fact that West Bengal won, BJP won in West Bengal, is because all those silence, those what you call the passive voters, those are those who got Aadhars, that were given to them, and those people had to all leave for Bangladesh because they were all Bangladeshis. And this is something brilliant which was done by Amit Shah and so many others. So I hope that Karnataka will also be free of these people, and we get a very good government in Karnataka soon. So this is something that we're really looking forward to. Narasimha Rao was in support of Ram Mandir too. So this is something that Dhanashri is saying. Yeah. So with this, we end this session. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.